Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole.
Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?
Who am I, you ask? I was created in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by the waste of a dying world. I was bestowed with an insurmountable task: bring peace after decades of death, persecution, and chaos. I am a grandchild of war, destined to help two camps which hate has fueled for far too long. Surprisingly, I am not alone. Have an odd bunch to make the road a little more bearable. Come with me, to bring hope where there was despair, respect where there was resentment, creativity where there was destruction. I am Pinocchio, and this is my story.
Very special thanks to all of our sponsors. Go check them out. Their links are down in the description below. They all got good stuff. It's worth checking out.
Hey everyone, I'm Laurie Calcaterra, and if you're not watching the Madness Comic Network, there could be
consequences.
Yeah, what she said. There could be consequences. You know what the consequences are. You miss out on all the good stuff. Can I tell you? Don't miss out on the good stuff. So today we have one guest who we were supposed to meet last week, Ralph Mdrigal. Hope I didn't butcher that, but so I couldn't. He couldn't make it last week. He is going to be here this evening. He's slightly late, but word has it that this guy also is a friend of his, and he's like, yeah, I'm supposed to be on. I forgot all about it. I'm sorry. So we're putting both these guys on the same show whenever Ralph gets here. But ladies, gentlemen, nerds, you guys know what's up. Say hi to Dan Stevens.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's happening, Dan? How you doing?
Hey, doing awesome. And yeah, Ralph and I, we go way back.
Yeah?
Maybe like 2 months, honestly.
You trying to say you got history with the sergeant?
Oh, not that kind of history.
Okay, good.
Not that kind of history. He's on the other side of the town, other side of the country. Yeah, he wouldn't catch me.
Don't. Never challenge one of those guys like that.
Oh no, I'm afraid of that guy. I'm sure he'd catch me in a heartbeat.
So you are with Starcross Comics.
Yes, Ralph and I, we are a part of an elite team. There's about a dozen of us creators with Starcross, and we got some wonderful crossovers. We've got some team ups, and I'm the new guy. My comic's not out as of yet.
All right, good. Well, you emailed me a trailer the other day. I asked for that when I scheduled me for the show. So I don't need your YouTube address, even though Starcross has the trailer up on their YouTube channel. I have it right here in the studio, so I can just play it. Would you like me to play it before you give it a? Would you like to set it up, or would you like me to play it and then you want to talk about it afterwards?
Oh, go ahead and play that thing. I think you'll enjoy it.
All right, here we go, everybody. Check this out. Stained Glass. All right, this looks pretty epic. You want to give us a little rundown? What's the deal?
Sure enough. So that is actually two different comics, episode issue 1 and issue 2. So issue 1 is almost like a issue 0. As you saw, that the main character is this big angel. He's fighting demons. There's an epic war, and at the end, that last picture you see, he's on his knees screaming. His wings have been ripped off.
Yeah, it looked like they were a little stubby. I was wondering.
Yep, and that's the work of Luke Stone and his colorist Patrick Gamma. Epic work. I love their stuff. And so, as that is an issue 0, it's really kind of setting up that the Angel's not the main character, but he is one of the most important characters in that second one. The second half of that, you see this another battle. You see some monsters, and one of the characters is shot through the throat, and there's this kid who comes walking out. Yeah, he puts his hands on the girl on her shoulder, and just like that, the wound heals up. She comes back to life. Kid runs through. He's fighting these cyborg ninjas, and it seems, I don't know, it's just a lot of action. So, kind of give you a quick rundown. Do you have that second picture, the picture that I had of the team?
Let's see. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I don't see any pictures here. Where they
All
at?
right, let me see if I can.
Just drop anything you want in my Facebook and I'll pull it up.
Okay, I'm going to send this over. So, what this team is, this is a superhero team comic. It's called Coest is the name of the team. It's supposed to look like the coexist, and I am pulling up this information real quick so I can send it over. But so this team is full of religious cryptids. Cryptids being like vampires, werewolves,
Mothman, Bigfoot, all that
stuff like that. But these are very specifically, spiritual,
biblical,
different religions.
Okay, even better. All different religions too. That's cool.
Yeah. So here I've got this sent. Okay.
That's cool. Hold on.
So what we have here is a team again of religious cryptids. It's run by a technocrat. He's kind of like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Steve Branson, all rolled into one. He's got this idea. He wants to see humanity's next evolution. There you go, the guy in the middle. Next evolution to merge with technology. So he has his consumer brands, your computers and watches and whatnot. He's got his medical stuff, helping the blind, the deaf, the paralyzed, people with just different diseases. That's his medical side. And then, of course, he has his military side, which he provides weaponry and vehicles for militaries worldwide. So that is his thing. But he leads this team, and he has actually used his technology, his biotech, to augment himself. Now, he surrounds himself with these characters. So in the top right, that's our Skinwalker. He's Navajo Skinwalker. To the far right, you have a Muslim jinn, which is where we get the word genie. His name is Sand Jinn. His girl there, Angel, she is not an actual angel. She is a little bit more of a witch or a new age. She is the one who's helped him along this whole time. On the bottom, that is our Jewish golem. The girl in pink, her name is Durga. She's a Hindu goddess. I'll skip the boy for the moment. He's our main character. But the top left, that is the angel. His name is Sharev Hadan, which is the sword of the Lord. They call him Chevy. That little boy, that's the main character. His name's Josh. And throughout the series, they're trying to find a good name for him. And kind of think of him as kind of like one of the prophets of Old Testament, those kind of powers, just kind of unique. So this guy in the middle, Dr. Darwin, he believes everybody's next evolution is to merge with technology. He's just really interested in the spiritual. And so that's why he surrounds himself with these teams. Now there's a lot of secrets that he has that will come out throughout the series. Things that him and his girl have kind of set up from way back when. But because they have these teammates and the people from around the world, they are able to get into countries that a normal army wouldn't be able to get into. And so this superhero team, they're fighting injustice worldwide.
Cool. So you have your main character is this youngster right here.
Mm-hmm. Very unassuming, very small, very sickly. He doesn't stick out. Everybody else, they're real blingy, they're real big, they're real powerful. He's just this little guy. And so, as you see a little bit in that second issue, in that the second half of the video, he does some pretty amazing things.
Nice. So Luke's doing some art for you.
Yeah, Luke and Patrick, they did everything that you've seen.
Okay, I mean, are they doing like all the cover work? Are they doing the interiors as well? What's going on there?
So they've done 7 of the interior pages. Luke is actually he's fairly busy with a lot of things. So going forward, I have a guy named Mark who's picking up Luke's work. Again, Luke's an awesome guy. He's a great friend. He is a busy man.
Does Mark have a last name?
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Mark Odinson, Odinson, Mark Odinson.
Odinson. Okay.
Yes, and now he's doing all my interior work. And then my cover is Federico Sioc, Sioc. He's done my cover, and so the cover, you've got this angel, and there's this broken stained glass window all around him. Now the first page is you opened it and you see the actual stained glass before it was broken. A picture of like an Adam and Eve with a snake, a serpent, kind of in a question mark. So a lot of this comic is going to deal with a lot of spiritual warfare. Again, what happens when you put a bunch of religious zealots in one place in a small area? They're going to fight. People, not all the religious zealots really love each other.
Okay, let me take a look at this. What do we got here?
All right, what do I have there?
This is the stuff on your Facebook page, so we can just whip through like this, right?
Yeah, so right there, that is, and honestly, that could have been a cover right there. Luke and Patrick, I mean, the coloring, all the technique that he put into that is just awesome. As you see that angel Chevy with his wings ripped off, his back bleeding golden light, and all of his angels there are fading into gold dust because they've all been defeated.
This is the kind of thing. You see, this is what happened to me when I was doing a campaign. We had a bunch of cool covers, right? And then late in the game, this guy throws this thing out there, and I'm like, I can't add another cover to the campaign, right? But it was so good. It was so good. It was like, all right, that's going to be on the back cover of every book.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It was like, it was one of those where it was like, man, if I'd have got it earlier, it would have been a cover.
Yeah.
But screw that. That should be on every book. It was that good. You know what I mean? It was like, so I would have made that the back cover.
Well, and I really, again, I don't draw. I don't color. I wish I had that kind of talent.
Yeah, me too.
But I found right. But I have found these guys who can make those dreams reality, and the use of light and color. When you think of a stained glass, I mean, light and color. I mean, you can't have a stained glass window without that. That is a character who's not on the team now. He'll make his appearance. His name is the Crusader, and that is our leader, our head honcho, Joe Spicer. It is his favorite character in my series. He's already actually part of crossover that Joe is doing. He's included that. Now this character, imagine an ultra mega guy with superpowers. his whole skin is like a symbiote. It's that biotech. He is a living tank. As you see his sword there, you don't really get the perspective. What's up, Genuine Comics? We'll be seeing you another time, I'm sure.
Yes, Mr. Brink, how you doing, brother? I know it's late over there, so thanks for tuning in, man.
So that Crusader, he is, again, like a living tank. And that sword is about 8 foot long, and it is a tank cannon. He is just an amazing character, but all that armor drove him bonkers. And so the Crusader is just a great character. I can't wait to see him come out in the actual comics. Now, as you see with this page, all my comics are going to have that black background. I don't want the white background.
Right.
I didn't want the edges. Again, I feel like it really plays into the idea of light and darkness and color. So here again is just a scene in that first issue where Chevy is flying through the city. His angels are happy and the demons are exploding. And that's going to be kind of the way that issue goes.
Poof, 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 poof. There's your image. There's your
yes. That's my first page, and again, that's that stained glass window. You got Adam and Eve, very modest, not showing off their bits and pieces, but then you have the serpent there, and a question mark, and again, I think that's going to play a big theme through this entire series.
Oh, check that out.
Okay, so this one was before they removed the white borders, and that's why I didn't like the white borders. But again, this is Chevy. Again, his name means the sword of the Lord, and he is fighting this galactic threat that was unleashed. Again, I love the colors. I love the story that's coming through here. Once I get my lettering in there, again, I don't want to show off too much. I don't want the script out too much.
Right.
So here's a scene of that boy. He's fighting these cybernetic ninjas who have stolen an important piece of technology. The team, the Koepp team, were pinned down. One of their teammates was actually, again, shot through the throat, and this boy makes short work of these ninjas, and where a lot of comics, a lot of stories, if you have a sword, Raphael or Michelangelo or Donatello, they have a sword, they're going to knock somebody out. But these are soldiers. If somebody gets shot, they get shot. If they get stabbed, they get stabbed. I'm not going to play around with,
alternate universes and reanimation and
yeah, I mean, again, people are going to die. One of the characters, Golem, he's got swords for fingers. I mean, and he just rips through stuff. And, like my kids, my kids ask me all the time, when can they read my comic? And I'm like, maybe when you're a little older.
Yeah, when you're older. Definitely when you're older. There's black and whites of that page. That's badass.
Yeah. Again, to see what they did and where they came from. Again, Luke and Patrick are just absolutely phenomenal.
Go ahead, tell them who it is. Go ahead.
So Gilbert did all my character art. He did not do the actual pages. So because I do not draw, I go to Gilbert. Hey, this is my idea. I'm going to give you a rough sketch, and I mean a very terribly awful sketch. And Gilbert takes those sketches that look like a 4-year-old drew them, and he turns them into gold. And yeah, the black borders just really make everything pop. So Gilbert, I could not have done this without him.
I got to throw a little something at Dave there. Dave, everybody that I've shown the book that you sent me, everybody I've shown it to is blown away by the way you have it laid out with the script and the roughs and the page and then the whole thing in the back. Everybody that I've shown it to is just blown away by that whole layout. So good job, bro. I don't know what else to say, man. Everybody likes it that I've shown it to. So, everybody's just blown away. It's good stuff, man. That's what we do. Show off good stuff.
So again, a lot of this is just the pre-coloring, the sketch, the inks.
Believe it or not, Dan, some of us love the line work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like I can look at this just as easily as look at the color, but now I can see anything that the colorist might have washed out, right? Because sometimes that happens when people are putting color on art. Sometimes some line work gets washed out. I like black and white. I really do. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah, and again, this is just a lot of these black and whites here. I mean, they look phenomenal. Luke is just an amazing artist.
Yeah.
But the two of them, Luke and Patrick, coming together, it just blows you away.
So how'd you meet those guys?
Man, I met Luke through stained glass, through Joe. Luke and I, we share a lot in common. We have stories. oh, so Pop's got the special one. There you go.
I didn't say everyone was going to get one. I said everybody likes what I showed them. Thank you, brother. You know what's up.
But yeah, Luke and I, we kind of shared some history together. Same kind of stuff happened in different ways, and Luke was kind of going through a hard time with some stuff, and I knew it. I knew right where he was coming from, and so like we just had this bond like pretty quick. And then with him just doing his Fund My Comic on top of his own comic works and his freelance stuff. I mean, the dude stays busy 24/7. I don't know how, and of course he's got a great story of, he almost didn't make it, and then now he's back at it, and he's going hard.
You got to.
Yep.
He came back. The Fund My Comic thing was amazing, right?
Well, I know he's really trying to make sure that artists, like, we can keep more of our money. That's the main thing is we get to keep. There's not as many fees, and he tries to make it as easy as possible. He created Fund My Comic from a point of view of, a comic book guy. Like, hey, how do I make the most money off of my comic? And
this is the whole thing, though. It's like he built something that's for comic people. It's not for lawn chairs, okay? You know how you go to the car lot to buy a car? You don't go to the car lot to buy anything else. You go there to buy a car. You're not sure what kind yet. You're not sure which one yet. But you go there to buy a car. This is what Fund My Comic is. It's your comic lot.
Exactly.
Everything there's comic. It's all comics. You're looking for comics. This is the place to go. It's all comics. Okay. Let the salesman sell you something. They're there and they're happy to sell to you. You know. But the other thing I love about it is you're dealing with the human.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're setting up your campaign, when you're dealing with a human, you're not dealing with an automated system that doesn't care if you just got ripped off for $12,000. You see what I'm saying? You're dealing with people that give a shit, man, and that by itself, to me, that puts it up above everything else. There's an actual approval process where somebody looks over your campaign and they go, yeah, you're good. And then guess what? You're good no matter what anybody out there in Twitter land or wherever has to say.
Right. And it's specific for comics. You know, things like Kickstarter or all those other ones. Those are for everything else. You've got a guy who's been in the industry for a long time, knows what he's doing, knows what's going to make you money. And he's the one that's helping you. Him and his team, and you know, I mean, there's a few people that are helping, I believe, and you know, again, that's excellent. You know, to be able to have a team of people and somebody with experience, and you know what, you want to raise money for a comic book. These people are looking to invest in a comic book, and you know, again, he's done a great job with that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look. I ain't gonna act like me and Luke were buddies, but I was very impressed with what he was doing, and I questioned him heavily. I went through the terms of service heavily because I wasn't going to endorse and recommend another one of these sites that lets me down. Okay, so far they've all let me down except my comic. Okay. Kickstarter let me down by letting Mob Rules pull down Mike Barron's book. Oops. Don't do that to Mike. Half these people wouldn't make comics if it wasn't for people like Mike. You know, don't do that to Mike. So I got mad at Kickstarter and I quit promoting or I quit endorsing them. I will promote your book if it's on Kickstarter, but you'll notice when I put your campaign on Twitter, it doesn't say at Kickstarter on there. It just has the link, right? I removed that stuff that promotes them as a platform because I'm not promoting Kickstarter. I'll promote you. But the same with Indiegogo. They let me down. They're shadow banning everybody. You know, I had two friends whose campaign were shadow banned in the sign up. They hadn't even launched their campaigns yet, and you could not find them if you did not have the exact address to where their sign-up page was. You couldn't find it. Was horrible.
I've gotten the rights to on that video. That's I guess some stock music. I really love good hardcore music, and there's a band called War of Ages. I reached out to them and finally they came back and said, you can use my music. So that's my next little step to add. But I was given advice that on any of these platforms, like don't put it on that platform because they don't sit there and care that you went through all the trouble of getting, you know, the permissions. If they hear it and they're like, nope, that's copyright material, your whole thing is banned. We're taking it down. Any money you might have made is gone. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't, you know, waste people's time like that. So on my personal promotions on whether Facebook, Instagram, all that, Twitter, or X, I'm going to have some of the most incredible music that as I was writing this comic was the anthem. This band War of Ages. It's the anthem for most of these pages that were drawn.
Dude, it looked awesome to me, and I'm gonna add music to it. We actually did a show once based on people who have soundtracks or CDs, you know, music tracks that go along with their comic books.
Mhm.
Did you know that Rush did a graphic novel, or somebody did a graphic novel of Rush 2112, and there's a music video, 21 minutes long or whatever, and it goes page by page through the book and plays the music from that whole side of that album, 2112. And it all goes right in line with the, the dialogue is what dude's saying in the songs, and it's like it's perfect. It goes right along with it, man. If you haven't checked it out, it's Rush 2112, but it is a graphic novel version, but the music is laid out perfectly with it. It's awesome.
I've actually got an Alice Cooper comic book, and he put the music to the comic.
Yeah.
And this is, this is what, 25 years ago or so.
Yeah, he's the theatrical. He's one of the theatrical masters of music, though. You got to remember, his show wasn't a rock concert. His show is even now, as old as he is. When you go see Alice, it's a theatrical performance.
Right, the rock opera.
I mean, it's amazing. It's fun watching him do the things he does. He still does. I saw him a bunch of times when I was young. Lived in Phoenix. He has a club there. Saw him at Coyotes games, and he was everywhere on the golf course. It's like there he is again. It's like he was everywhere. Fun guy, cool guy to talk to. But man, let me tell you what, that skinny little dude can hit a golf ball.
Oh, I bet he's got time to do it now.
Well, I mean, he was like a scratch golfer then. I mean, he's good, right? And man, everybody has other things that they do other than what they're famous for. You know what I mean? And you don't really know it until you see them doing it or somebody makes a big deal about it. But Alice is fun. He does a lot of charity work, food bank stuff, all kinds of stuff out of his club. Cooperstown, Alice Cooperstown, downtown Phoenix, right by the ball. Big club too. I mean, big enough to have good shows, and You gotta do your thing, man. You gotta do your thing. You gotta do things that make you happy. So what do you do other than comics, Dan? See, I was leading in on you.
I hear you. So actually, like what I do to support my habit, well, one of the things is a lot of this artwork and stuff. I sold plasma as often as I could to get this stuff going.
I've heard that story from more than one person.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like I go a couple times a week. Like, oh man, my arms are all bruised. It looks like I'm a heroin addict. I can't hide this stuff. It's just my arm. But yeah, I sold plasma a lot. But right now, what I do is I work with individuals with developmental disabilities, intellectual and developmental disabilities, special needs.
Right.
I work with adults. And it's so fun. I love my guys. I did it about 20 years ago, and I got kind of frustrated with the industry 20 years ago. It wasn't safe for the clients. It wasn't safe for the staff. And I didn't feel like I could make much of a difference, but I'm working for a company now that they really focus on making sure that they're able to contribute to the community. And it is just an amazing opportunity. Some days it's hard. There's some days that, again, you're working with people.
It's got to be rewarding, though.
It is. And so I definitely get to enjoy that. Some of my guys, they really like the comic book, and they're like, show the video. Even when we meet new people, they're like, "Can you show them the video?" I'm like, "Sure enough, I'll show them video."
That's awesome.
So that's been something that's been wonderful. Then just being able to come home, and when I create this comic, I am not a typical comic book writer. I write more as if I was writing a novel. I write it by chapter.
Okay. Right.
So paragraphs and chapters, and eventually, to go along with the comic, I will have a novel that comes out, just a hardback novel to go right along with it. I feel like they both do wonders. You have your visuals for your visual readers, but then if you like to just read, you get that depth of language, you get that depth of character, so much more than what you're getting as you're going through the comics. In fact, one of my biggest struggles is trying to cut out stuff that can go in the comic that, if you're reading it makes, again, it's just richer to me. But you can't have a comic book that's 40 pages long. And my first 3 issues are... Oh, you can. You can. My first 3 issues are about 30 pages long. So they're big comics, but they serve a purpose. There's a reason they're that big. Okay, so on the screen there, that is the team lead. He is the one who leads Team Koepp. It means the Coalition of International Spiritual Talent. And as you see him powered up there, his technology, he can put his hand directly into his jet and it is a part of him. Or if he walks into one of his buildings, his feet merge with the floor and he has complete control over the facility. His tech, all the members of Team Koepp, minus the Archangel Chevy and the boy, all the rest use his tech to augment their powers or to make sure that they're not just useless appendages. But again, he's got a lot of secrets that he will carry with him, and the team will find out.
All right, let's see what's next. There's your.
So there's that team photo again.
There it says right there, Koepp, right there.
Koepp, right in the middle. And so a lot of the blue technology you'll see. You don't really see it in the top right in the Skinwalker, but in his in the Skinwalker's oh man, I can't say it, but the animal pelt on his head, the headdress, that's what it is. The technology allows him to stay in his form longer, to be bigger, stronger. And doing research on him, I reached out to some people at a Navajo reservation in Arizona, and was just getting information. I wanted to make sure he was as accurate as possible. And so they gave me his name, they gave me what could happen. But when I spoke to them, the most interesting thing, the Navajo believe the Skinwalkers exist 100%. It's not myth.
Oh yeah, dude. I lived in Phoenix for 35 years, and I have friends that are in the Hopi Nation, Navajos, Apaches. I mean, there are so many different Native Americans in Arizona. It's crazy.
And the thing that shocked me about it, not only do they believe it exists, but the main part she would tell me about was when the American army was coming towards a village, the Skinwalker would run faster than the horses to the next village and warn the village. But to become a Skinwalker, you had to murder somebody you loved. It was generally somebody who was going to be a medicine man. But they had to murder somebody they loved, and they took on the power of the spirits, and that's what gave them this ability to change shape. Just below him, the Muslim jinn, he was a commander of an elite army group during the Iraqi war, and he had found the weapon of mass destruction. It was in a facility under his hometown where his family lived, and as he went to disarm it, he was caught up in close proximity, and it turned his entire body to sand, very much like the Sandman. But for years he roamed the deserts, and they called him the Sand Demon, because he would just murder anyone who came through. And as you see, there's just kind of towards the bottom, there's a little floating box, and that's kind of his genie lamp. It helps keep his shape. But really, it's almost the entire facility in the town above is collected into that little box. Right there. And so Simon's technology is what that box is. Now, an angel, the wings are solid light. She creates a solid light bow that she uses as a weapon. But her halo is actually a communication device to be able to connect directly with Simon, Dr. Darwin's tech. So she's always been his right-hand woman. She's actually the one who taught him what things to do, what companies to acquire, really made him the man that he is. Now, you can't really see him on the bottom, the golem. Now, in the typical golems, they were these large clay creatures that were used to defend the Jewish faith, that were created by Jewish mystics. I took a little bit of a spin on that. A lot of the Jewish roles, like priests, was something that was passed down through heredity, father to son. The Levites were the priests, and so his role was passed on to him by his father for generations. But because at the time I wrote this, Israel, they've got their Iron Dome and they've got such a great military, the role was more of a symbolic thing. And he wanted to make a difference. So instead of becoming a giant golem, he condensed it. His skin is carbonite. So he's incredibly strong and invincible, basically. But he can't really touch anything. His fingers, you can't see it there, but they're sharp. His toes are sharp. So the tech that Dr. Darwin gives him kind of gives him the chance to be able to feel things and not slice everything to bits. And then I'll get to the other two in a minute, but the girl there, Durga, she's a Hindu goddess. Now, in India, and I have friends of mine in India, if you're born with an extra pinky or an extra flab of skin or whatever, they say you've been touched by the divine. Well, she was born with 2 extra arms and a tail, which was just an extension of her spine. So Darwin's tech gives the tail strength, her arms strength, but her parents were part of the untouchable class. And when she was born, basically the priest asked if they could have her, give her a great education, a great life. And the parents, being from a very poor, caste, wanted to give her the best life. Well, the mom ended up dying after childbirth, and they had a lot of hospital bills. Over there, you don't go to a bank. You sell yourself for loans. And so the father was a part of a brick making organization. He ended up dying. Now Durga, wanted to change all this. I'm a goddess. I should be able to change this. But was let known that she was basically just a figurehead. And so she wanted to change the world. And so that's why she became a part of this team.
It's awesome. Awesome. Good setup. I think I'm starting to think that Ralph might not make it.
Yeah. I mean, I love talking, but I know I texted him just a little bit ago, and he said he was on his way. He had just gotten home, and he was just finishing his shower. He should be in any moment.
All right. Just starting to get worried because I only got so much time here myself.
Hey, I appreciate you giving me a bunch of time.
Well, I'm trying to hang out and give him a chance too. I don't want to have to reschedule him again. That would be horrible,
But I'll tell you though, Ralph, it's worth it. His comics have been amazing. So there you have. There's Monsanto's little signature in the bottom. That is Chevy, the Sword of the Lord, and he just doesn't like people. He doesn't like humans. He doesn't understand why they're so important. And how he lost his position saving a bunch of worms. And so he, even though he is an archangel, he fights the speed of light and just immensely powerful. He just doesn't want to. But the boy, you have the boy who is a follower of Jesus, and you have this boy who's like, I serve him because I want to, where the angel was always kind of a tool. I mean, his name means the sword of the Lord. He served because he had to. He didn't have a free will. He didn't have a choice. But the boy sees that he actually has that choice. He has been given a free will. And so the boy and this angel, they kind of look at the angel as the guardian angel. And there's the boy. He doesn't actually have fire. They just kind of did that as I don't know, something so it's not just a kid on his knee, like. But again, very unassuming, very and he's not like a child. He's like 18 years old. He's just very small, scrawny, unassuming. And as I was talking to the artists that were working on this, they said it's hard. You want this kid to be skinny and sickly. It's easier to do muscles, do a whole. That's easier. Every artist wants to show off the anatomy, but this kid is not.
So we have a new puppy.
Oh yeah?
And he does not like being up there alone.
Oh.
I noticed that the two adult dogs are down here. Rock. Yeah, the two adults have been banished down here, so the puppy's up there just whining. Come on, Ralph. You're going to have to hurry this up, man. Hi, Rocky. What are you doing? Oh, yeah, he's up there trying to fight his way out of wherever they caged him up. He's mad. It's not pretty. Little tiny 8-week-old retriever. And,
yeah. Well, I think Ralph's about to pop in.
Good. I just wish I didn't have the yiping dog in the background. Did they leave you and leave you all here alone and leave him up there yiping, Rock? Is that what happened? Yeah, see, Rocky ain't happy either.
What's up, puppy?
You're not happy either, are you? Oh man.
My dog, he's laying there in the living room. He's 2, but he's just laying there. Golden Retriever. You think he'd be up running the house doing laps, but he's just laying there. He's really a timid dog. Anything, he doesn't like going on walks because trash cans and mailboxes are scary. And so he just lays there, waits till the kids get home.
Hey guys.
Ralph!
What's up, Ralph? I'm sorry, man. It's like right when just a couple minutes ago, the whole family left. We got this little puppy upstairs, and he's just yiping away because there's nobody up there with him. So, it's gonna, I'm gonna try to mute myself when I'm not talking so that you guys don't have to listen to it. But I'm just warning you. It just started. It's like, oh my God, here we go.
We're all good. We all got family. I got my grandson next door playing, his PS5, so he's going crazy in there. So I closed the door already out there.
Well, good to see you, man.
Yeah,
how you been?
It is. I saw you on Laurie's show.
Oh, thank you.
I saw you on Laurie's show, and I'm like, hey. Because Laurie's part of the network, and I'm like, how come I don't know this guy, Laurie? So there you go. I've made sure that we tried to get you out earlier, obviously. You have one of those unique jobs that's way more important than comic books. And I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people what you do, both, in and out of comics a little bit. Give everybody a little taste of Ralph, man.
Okay, man. So, Rafael Mdrigal, I have been working with the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office for 26 years this August. Done everything, the jail, patrol, CID, narcotics, SWAT, and I've been a supervisor for the last 16 years. So it's painstaking, but I love what I do. Comic books have been part of my life since I was 12 years old. I remember the first comic book was a Superman, and I told my mom, one day I'm going to write a comic book. And ever since then, I've been journaling and writing and everywhere. You see all my police books, notebooks, there's notes everywhere where I get an idea or I have a thought and I jot it down. And I have them everywhere. So, but this book is very personal to me because it's really saving in a lot of ways. Our job, we see so much death and chaos, so much of the bad side of people, and you bring that home with you, right? So this book, this story, all this universe has saved me in those days when most cops, they start drinking, most cops start doing other stuff, and I just I buried myself in this story big time. Yeah. Where did Pops go? Oh,
I think he's taking care of the dog, but man, I love the story, and I love the fact that that in the first, hopefully I'm not saying too much, but in that first comic, it's a family coming together.
Right. So real quick, so the Sword of Justice, Dan, or everybody out there, the Sword of Justice is the oldest form of justice in my universe, right? The Atreus universe. It's the oldest form. So when it was the Big Bang, it became the Sword of Justice, and it became Father Evil and the chaos and destruction, right? Two separate entities. The Sword of Justice is the embodiment, the celestial essence of justice, so it can connect to all the other justice presence and all the other multiverses. So it's infinite, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of course, Earth didn't know about it in my comic book. We're so backwater that the Sword just never felt we were ready to be brought into this world, right?
Right.
But we are rich in souls. We are rich in pure souls. And Father Evil looks for that, and he sends these scouts called Astral Wolves. They go scout universes looking for these planets that are full of souls, especially dark souls. Dark souls make it even stronger. So those Astral Wolves happen to find it. He starts making plans to come to Earth, and at that time, the main sword for the Sword of Justice was Doc's at the time, and he intervenes, and that's like the comic book you read. He intervenes, and Rick, the deputy Rick Miranda, intervenes when he's seen this battle, and the sword of justice can look into your soul and see what kind of person you are, and he sees that this guy's righteous, man. He's not perfect by any means. He's made mistakes, but it saw something in him that he comes to help this guy he never met in his life, and doing his due diligence as a cop, and overmatched, but he still prevails. He still helps. So the sword of justice, it chose him as this guy's dying. Docs, the superhero, the sword of justice chooses Rick Miranda to be the new avatar for this group of knights, sword of justice knights.
Got it. Now, where did the name Atreidian come from?
So all the years, 38 years, right? So his original name was Powerwolf. In 1985, I called him Powerwolf. I didn't like it. Years went by. I changed it to Justice Prime, and I didn't like that either, man. So happened to be watching the Never Ending Story about 8 years ago, and I love the name Atreyu. Remember Atreyu?
Oh yes,
he rocks. So I googled that, and well, man, what does that mean? So it's in the word Atreus is fearless in Greek, and I loved it. And for years, I was trying to come up with the perfect name. Finally, I saw the House of Atreides, the House of the Fearless in Dune, the movie Dune. And I said, you know what? I work with this. I for weeks, I finally said, Atreidian justice is fearless justice. So I thought it's like the most unique, original name on the planet. I know, I love it. Vince White once asked me, what is Atreidian's icon? Batman's fear, Superman's hope. And Atreidian straight out, it's fearlessness in justice. That's his icon. Yeah, that's my boy right there. Yeah, so it took me a long time, Dan, to finally come up with that perfect name.
Yes, that's awesome, and even his symbol there really matches that.
That. So if you see that symbol, everything I did has a meaning. If you see this family pick on the side, if you see that pick right there, it is the armor of God. So Atreidian is the armor. Lionstone, the lion-looking guy, is the sword. Red Blaze is the feet or the shoes of God. Iron Angel is the shield. Union Star is the helmet of God. So everything has meaning in my comic. The sword is symbolic of a cross, as you see. It's got the scales of justice. You can go to look at the one right after the family one. The scales of justice, and then the flame of baptism. So one of his main powers, all the knights have, all the swords that are the alphas. If you get possessed by these astral wolves and you live, you're not responsible for what you do. They're evil. They're the purest evil. So an astral wolf just wants to kill a sword of justice knight. They have no other things but to serve their master and kill and bring in more souls. So if he's able to separate you from this astral wolf without killing you, he can baptize you so you won't feel remorse for what they made you do. But you still have to pay your crimes to society. They're not doing it voluntarily, man. They're possessed. So he can baptize you with that. That's one of his main powers as well.
Okay, so it's kind of like the penance stare, Ghost Rider's penance stare in a sense, but almost the opposite. Instead of making you feel remorseful, it's like, no, this isn't on you. Right. This is on right. Whatever that was.
And I don't think we ever discussed this, but so it's the oldest form of justice, and all the 400 billion years that has been around, it's had different warriors, right? And every time a warrior gets killed in the line of duty, it takes some of its essence into the sword of justice. So if he can create that family, he can choose which of these powers best fits the family. And at the same time, you guys in the back, they're just regular knights. Those are kind of like a la Green Lantern or a la Dark Stars or a la Nora Corps. They're the soldiers. So you'll have one sword, which is at this time it's Atreidian, and he'll have his family, which are other smaller swords, and then he'll have the knights. which is the regular soldiers that do all the, a la Nova Corps. That's my issue 1 right there. I had that relettered, and because Van Claridge is the letterist for issue 2, and he did an amazing job. So I wanted to match on issue 1. So I had the whole thing relettered, and I got a new cover for it.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Joseph Dowen Joseph DeSantos is amazing. So Joseph DeSantos is my illustrator, and Aaron Dowen helped me script the whole thing. I have all these notes everywhere, and I have the scripts, but Aaron is the guy behind putting it all together. That's it right there, man. It's a cleansing of not cleansing. It's him telling the world, hey, man, we're here to help. He's got to deal with Father Evil now. Father Evil is, in essence, the devil in this story. The ultimate evil. Hey, Pops, can you go over to the next pictures?
Yeah, we're gonna go through them as you tell us. I did want to say, I know Aaron Dowen.
Yeah, Aaron's a rocker, man. Aaron's a good dude, man. That is the issue 2 that just came out last month. And we're introducing the knights. So remember I told you, so he's got his family, and then he can choose a general. The guy in the background with the cape is the general, and the guy in the middle, the big one's Bear, and then the one on the bottom is DJ. He's like the tech guy. So and there are other knights across the universe that are made aware already that Atreidian, that Brick Medina is a new sword. So eventually in the rest of the issues, we're going to see some of those guys. But for right now, the Sword of Justice chose these Earth Knights to come out and help Atreidian and his family. So by this time, it's months down, and there's already war with all these Astro Wolves that are taking over the planet. You can go ahead. Pops. That's a little background on me right there. That was actually at our memorial, our fallen officer memorial. 26 years, guys. We all need like a little break from reality. We all need a little break from the death that we see, and this comic book and this whole universe is what's really saved me, big time, for going down the wrong path.
I just want to thank you for your years.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Defending the Constitution of the United States.
It's been a ride. Pops. We're in South Texas. We're on the border, man. We're off the border. I mean,
damn! I want to talk to you off camera, bro.
we're literally 15 miles from the Hidalgo Reynosa port. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the cartels, dealing with just everything you can think of, and you see in the news. We deal with it down here. So this comic book has saved me from, going crazy at some of these nights when you see this absolute disregard for life, and you're sitting in bed with your wife, and and it's just eating away at your soul, So I get up and I go and I journal. I just think about Atreidian, I think about this whole universe and how I can transpire my work into that, and that's getting picked up by Starcross Comics, baby.
Oh yeah, you got Alpha Red and Starcross right there.
Yeah, man.
That's just a powerful picture.
Joe Spicer, and that's MK Odison is the artist on that, man. That kid can draw.
Yeah, and that's MK is the one who's picking up for Luke in my comics as well.
Right. He is a phenomenal artist. Besides, for me, Joseph DeSantos, but MK really impressed me. He's actually doing a commission for me that's getting colored that I can't wait to show off, man. That's going to be beautiful. But yeah, man, I'm sorry. Sorry I took some of your time, Dan. We'll take turns, my friend. We'll take turns.
No, Dan,
I've been on for like 45 minutes.
Have you?
This is yours.
Oh my God! I thought. Oh, okay, awesome, man. Thank you for waiting for me, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like right when you got here, that's when the puppies started going crazy, and it's like,
man, we all got family. We all have lives and bills and things we got to take care of. I'm sorry, I was supposed to be on last week, Dan, as well.
I was gone all weekend. I was gone all weekend. Okay, they got a puppy like last week, and then I came back. But I didn't notice that they didn't have a kennel for it when I left.
Right.
Now he's up there in the kennel, and he don't like the freaking kennel, right? You see what I'm saying? And I'm sure they only put him in there when they're leaving,
Right.
so that he doesn't tear the house up.
Right.
But they probably don't know that this is how he acts when they're gone.
I got a little chihuahua. She's my little chubby chihuahua. She's in our bedroom right now. Anyway, so yeah, so man, this is and I should have sent you a picture. I think I did. I think there's a one after this one, the one that Vince White did for me. There you go. So that's my secret. It's finally out. I haven't put it out yet to anybody. It is now around the world, God, with the grace of God. So I'm working on a one-shot that takes place in between issue 1 and 2 of Sword of Justice, of a trade-in, and Vince White is my illustrator. He did a great job on this. It is a more in-depth look at the deputy side of Rick Miranda, of a trade-in, and why the Sword of Justice chose him due to his righteousness and problems that he had with his family, due to his job, due to bad decisions. And it shows a little more on the Sword of Justice as well, as to what it is, how old it is. So yeah, Vince White is a top-notch artist as well, and I think he illustrated it really well. Yeah.
What's up, Levi?
Vince does amazing work as well. You've got great artists.
Man, so I wish I could draw, man. I wish I could draw. It would save me thousands of dollars on art, you know.
I know. You and I are in the same boat.
All three of us said the same thing now in this one show. We all wish we could draw.
Man. So I'll sketch like all the characters I've created. I've sketched them. This is what I want them to look like, right? What I wish I could. And then of course Joseph DeSantos, you know, Nick Garber, Tony Cottrell, those guys helped me create them. You know, they did their part. And in this book, I actually scripted the whole thing myself. And I had Aaron Dowan help me edit it. So I'm proud to say that this is actually 99% mine. You know, the first two are I'm a creator and writer, but Aaron had a lot, you know, input on that as well, especially in the second one. But this is mainly all me. That cover kind of had the idea what I wanted. And I showed it to Vince, and he tore it apart. You know, I love the concept of, you know, his deputy side behind him, what he's behind him, the Sword of Justice. It's a magnificent picture. I think he did a great job with it.
Oh yeah.
And you got the little Astro Wolf on the bottom. You know, the evil little creatures.
All right, so I asked Dan. I got to ask you. How did you meet Aaron?
Okay, so I found Tony Cottrell from Advent Comics is the first guy I ever reached out to. He's a firefighter. I was collecting his comics, so we kind of hit it off. And then I met Nick Garber from Apogee Comics, right? And he helped me do a commission. And as I'm researching, it's funny, I finally got him Riley Lockett from Iron Gate Comics, and he recommended Joseph DeSantos, right? So Joseph, we got to talking. He loved the idea. He goes, man, I have this guy who's you know, faith. You know, he's got faith in God. You know, he's a you know. So he shared me to Aaron Dowan. That's how I met Aaron. I met Aaron through Joseph DeSantos, and it's been an awesome roller coaster ride. You know, they're two different kind of people. Aaron's humble, you know, religious guy. You know, and Joseph's a rocker. You know, he's different, a little different than but they click. Those guys click well together, man. It's amazing. You know, it's amazing how they click, and they work well together. So Aaron's a real cool dude. I got to meet Jessica a lot. And they're cool guys, man. They're really strong in what they do, and I'm very grateful to both those guys and Van Claridge But those two guys, especially because they've been with me from the very beginning. So
Yeah,
awesome guys.
I'm like glad that Aaron drops his stuff in the Madness and Facebook group on a regular basis, so I can keep up with what he's doing, keep track with what he's doing, because there's a lot of people that do comics, man. And if you guys don't throw it out in front of me where I can see it, I don't know you got something new going on. I can't ask you to be on the show if I don't know. So that's kind of what the Facebook group is for, the Madness Comic Network on Facebook. Everybody's more than welcome to drop links to their shows, their campaigns, their websites. It doesn't matter what, as long as it's, the things we love. And you'll notice you can scroll through there for days. You will not see two people fighting about anything.
Good. Awesome. That's what we need.
We just don't do that. We drop our links to our stuff. We say, hey, man, go check out this show. Like Ryan Permison drops all of his shows that he does on YouTube. Drops the link to him in the Madness and lets people know, I got this guy on. We're doing this show tonight. And, of course, we got 30-something weekly shows in our own network. And, just that and everybody's comics and their websites. I want people to know where to find you. I want people to be able to buy your books, okay? If it doesn't hit me in the face, I'm probably not going to remember because I talk to so many people. Okay. Right. I have covered literally thousands of campaigns since I started doing this. So that's why I say, use that. I know there's not a lot of Facebook groups that let you self-promote. So many of them are like, no, you can't promote yourself here. And it's like, well, why would I be here talking to comic fans if I can't talk about my comic or my YouTube channel or whatever? Why would I go there to promote if I can't promote? Doesn't make sense. So we built a group where everybody's allowed to promote your stuff. Just do it. Everybody, and the same with our YouTube channel. I give everybody a wrench. I want people dropping their links over there in the chat. I want the people watching to see, oh, man, that guy's got that going on over there. And that guy's got that going on over there. And the more people that drop their links, the bigger you guys' fan bases will get.
Right. I noticed what indie comics are I discovered probably about 15 years ago. Now, remember, so South Texas is terrible. So we're always 6 months behind everything. I swear to God. When I was a kid, I heard that song by Sir Mix-a-Lot, whatever, Baby Got Back, and I heard it in New York when I was truck driving, and I come back home and nobody knows about it. So we get everything late. I
used to say that about Phoenix. I used to say Phoenix is 20 years behind the rest of the country.
We are. So I finally discovered these 15 years ago, and I'd be talking to my friends, other comic people, and they had no idea what we're talking about. But the indie world is so awesome, dude. It's opened my eyes to so many average people that just want to create their comic books, where not everybody's going to be Jim Lee, not everybody's going to be, all these amazing guys that were for DC and Marvel and Image. And when you get a chance to sell your book or you have somebody out there read it, that's the best feeling in the world. And I think that is, I've had luckily 2 successful campaigns on Kickstarter. The first one was in 2 days. We got, back. The second one, 2 days and a half. But the indie fans out there are awesome, man. They're amazing. I've met so many people, been to so many shows, and the more I want to do more shows. And if I could do a show a day, I would. I love to talk. I'm a talker. I'm a people person,
I got to do. We used to do a show online called CromCon, and it was a weekend long, one creator after another, half hour. Wow. And we would cover like 20 people a day, and then have a panel at the end of the night and stuff. But I was doing that for 39 months straight. Started doing it when all the cons went down in 2020. We did it for a couple of years, right? We did it for a while. And I got to do it one time from the floor of Savannah Comic Con.
Wow.
Got to set up a table and do the show all weekend long. It was a blast. I would love to be able to go to cons and set up the show and do the show all weekend, cover the show, cover the people that are there, do it live. Do it live. Puppy, how come when I talk, I do that? You do that, and as soon as I hit the mute button, you shut up.
I think cons are great. I did my first one last year. Well, no, sorry, in April, and I did really well, man. I'm of course South Texas is different than some of the bigger cons, but I did really well. I met some local artists and some local creators, and Tony Valdez is a guy from the 30 minutes away from me. He lives in Harlingen, and you get to meet these people, and I love it. I would love to go like to South Texas, to like San Diego Con or one of those big old cons, but it's amazing, man. The indie world is. I heard it's gonna. I better heard it was harder like 20 years ago when there wasn't any social media. Now it's all social media, thank God.
Hi,
Yeah,
Kitty.
I was able to
Listen
go to
to our
my-
puppy. Listen to our puppy howl. Oh, that little tiny howl. Do that. Oh.
There he is.
No, that's the mad bark. I like the little howl. Kitty is the creator of Flip City Magazine. If you haven't checked that out, they're one of our associate sponsors and have some great stuff.
Nice. Well, Dan, what you got, Dan? So, stained glass, right, Dan?
Yeah, stained glass. And again, we had a great chance to talk about it. That's my main dude right there. Just super unassuming, just kind of a plain looking character compared to everybody else I got. But that beautiful piece right there, that's Luke and his colorist Patrick Gammon. I mean, while Federico did an incredible job on my cover, like that could have almost been a second cover, just an alt cover right there.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I love the sheer, just holy looking part to it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, that Angels, and it's crazy. So, of course, yours is the Swords of Justice. Well, his name is the Sword of the Lord. In Hebrew, it's Shrev Hadan. And I'm probably butchering the way I'm saying that, but we both have that sword idea, and like his sword's laying there on the ground, his wings have been ripped off for that guy, for Chevy to walk unglorified to the end of time. He's surrounded by all of his soldiers that are just fading into nothingness.
Wow.
into the oblivion, and you see their gold and light just fading away. It's a kind of a terrible way to end a comic book. Your hero, one of your heroes, is just defeated. But again, it sets the whole story for the rest of the series.
Right. So at the end of issue 2, that's why that book's called the Fall. It's because there's going to be major betrayal, before, and it's going to get worse for this whole series. And you mentioned the sword. So in actuality, you're never going to see a trade-in with a sword. It's just a symbol, right? Okay. And people were asking me, why does he need to get a sword? So he has one major power. If he's losing and he's weak, the sword justice can gather energy from other justices from other universes, and he can hit you with a one-time shot where he can create like this giant sword and hit you with that.
I'm trying to look behind me, Mike. We created a Lego character.
Kitty, that is not cute puppy sounds. That is mad puppy sounds.
But I found him different swords because this is not big enough. So I try to go with sword, sword? I'm like, I gotta find a bigger sword. I need a giant Buster sword. Something's like, 20 feet long and like 5 feet thick. That he's the sword of the Lord. He's, should have this monstrous sword, but he doesn't need it.
He's a sword of God, and in this universe, Atreidian's universe, like the Alpha is called a sword. So, there's been 4 of them in the 400 billion years, and Atreidian is the 5th sword, and then of course you have all the soldiers and stuff. But I love that whole idea, man. That's a great concept. Who is your I don't know, what is your hero's name? I'm sorry, Dan. Can you give that out?
So yeah. There's two main heroes. I mean, there's a Team Koepp, but the two main is just this kid named Joshua. Throughout the series, they're looking for a name for him. They're looking for it. They're trying to find it. They're nothing really sticking. But then the other one, he goes by Chevy. My dad worked for General Motors for 36 years, retired GM, supported my family during that time, and but it comes from Sherev, which means sword, chevron, sword,
right?
Chevrolet, sword. Right. So they call him Chevy, is his nickname. And these two are the main characters through this entire series. I won't get into the main villain for this set, but in the first comic, they do fight a form of Satan. She pops out, looks like a businesswoman. Actually, when I was telling Gilbert Monsanto to create this character, I'm like, let's look at Lena Boebert, or what was the girl from Alaska, the one governor? I can't think of her name.
Oh my God! You know who she is, Pops. There you go.
Yes, yeah. I'm like, I want her to look like this, and so she is the big baddie through the entire series. Sarah Palin. Thank you.
There you go.
But yeah, she is the big baddie through the whole series, and she could not have made her appearance without the Koepp team, my superhero team. And I can't wait to do another interview when I get more of the story out. So
don't give out too much, man.
You want to, right?
Yeah, I know you do.
Throw it out there though. Sarah filled out an American flag bikini.
Well, she's definitely this lady is Lucy Morningstar.
There you go.
She's a political person who, yes. I will say though, that's one thing in my comic book, that is I talk to my artist. Like, I do want my kids to be able to read it one day. So if the bad people, even like, they have to have a level of modesty. And I mean, I have gore. There's some light profanity throughout, but I do cross. I can't cross that line. That's one of my standards. I've got to keep it modest.
Right.
But again, it's gonna look good. Like, you might not have
that
fan service.
Not every book has to be a exploitation book. You know what I mean? It's
and I'm glad you're saying that, Pops, because so issue 1, there were some bad words in it, right? And Aaron and Joseph were like, yeah, man, go. And in the back of my head, it was bothering me a little bit, some of the most amazing books that I've read, comic books that I've read that have touched my heart, had not one single bad word in them. It's just the way they showed the violence, like, wow. So, we did it, I'm saying? I won't say that it was a bad decision, but it bothered me for these last year. It was bothering me. And when we brought in Van to letter it, I love it. I just saw his lettering and it blew me away. It just blew me away because Aaron lettered the first one. Aaron's a good letterer. I'm not gonna talk bad about Aaron. He did a great job, but Van is a different level. So I talked to my wife and I told her, look, I want to re-letter it. I want to get rid of the bad words. And she's like, do it. It's your comic book. Do it. So I talked to Aaron. I talked to Joseph and I paid Van to re-letter the whole issue. And Van's like, well, don't you need a new cover, man? And you know what? Yeah, Joe, do you mind doing a new cover?
so I gotta ask now, do you have any copies of #1?
Of course. That's gonna be the original baby, man.
I gotta have one.
I'll get you one, Pops.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the prime, right? That's gonna be my first baby, you know. This second one, the re-lettered issue, it's just re-lettered and it has some extra stuff that make it a little stronger. But the first one's gonna be my baby. You know, that was Joseph destroyed the cover. His whole cover is about darkness and who is this guy? You know, who are those bad guys? Issue 2, the re-letter is more of this is Tradian in the world. Here he comes. The issue 2 cover, I loved it, man. I'm bringing the Knights, but it's called The Fall. So issue 3, I plan to call it Morning. That's going to be a tough issue because there's going to be some betrayal, some death, and that we can have an idea. So issue 2 through issue 3 will be Morning. There's a death. 4, and then 5 is called Devastation. So what I want to do is the plan is, I have most of it written out, is he's got to, Trini's got to make a decision. Somebody gets killed. They kill off a bad guy, and he's got to make a decision of bringing this person back into his family, but at the same time bringing in the ultimate evil back. So he's going to get judged, and he's going to get sent off to the planet Sickness to get judged. Because Sickness is a Father Evil's planet, and so the story text is there. Now his family's got to go track him down and find him, and while he's getting judged, and I hopefully can get some other indie creators to help me with this, because I'm gonna need a team to go help rescue him. I already talked to maybe Radical Comics, Ronnie Martin. You know, I've talked to other people about helping their team go find a Tradian where they're gonna have to fight the ultimate evil, and that's gonna be a nasty war while he's getting judged. But it's gonna be an exciting next 2 years for me, at least 3 years.
I do feel like I need to clarify a little bit. I'm a guy who loves the first printing of something.
Right.
It wouldn't matter if the bad words were in the second printing or the first printing. I'd want the first printing. You see,
right.
If you had re-lettered it and put bad words in it, I'd still want the one that came first. You see what I'm saying? It's not like I want the one with the bad words in it.
I'm gonna get it to you. I'll get it to you, man. Yeah, man. So it's been a crazy ride for me, man. We're on issue 2. We got the one shot. You mentioned Gilbert Monsantos, Dan. He's gonna also do a source book for me. So he's working on all that for me right now on as far as all the illustration of the characters. So man, so many ideas coming up. I wish I had more money.
Right. If I just had more money.
Or I could draw my own stuff.
No, let's just get more money, man.
I'm a company. I gotta check my check.
I do have another show coming up here. We'd have had this over with, an hour ago. I did not. I'm East Coast. You guys are both in this central.
Or Central.
I'm kind of central off a little bit, but I'm not tripping. We got the show off. But I do have another show coming up here in a little bit. I kind of got to get out of the way. But man, I love talking to both of you guys. Raphael, I definitely want to talk to you. Not necessarily right now after this
I got
show,
you, man.
But I definitely want to talk to you and pick your brain. I hung out on the border for a bit down in Arizona.
Right.
And I mean, I watched them backpacking stuff. We just stood there on the hill with binoculars watching the backpack, watching them come right up underneath Ajo, right up below Ajo, right, into a campground area, and then they all turn around and they walk back with empty backpacks, and
Right.
a couple trucks leave the campground, and you're like, there goes all that weed. Look.
It's
You know what I mean? And it's like, man, I'd love to pick your brain a little bit.
it's a different world out here, man. Yeah, man. You both guys, man. I'm available whenever y'all want to talk about anything, comics, the world, life. We're all human. We all go through stuff in our lives. Nobody's perfect by any means. But I'm always available for you guys, man. Thank you for the opportunity, Pops. Dan, thank you for being on with.
Ralph, Pops, you guys are amazing.
Both you guys rock, bro. I'm a rocker, so I play bass too. I play electric bass and rock band.
Okay, the first song I ever learned to play on the bass was Stranglehold. And the second one was Ain't Talking About Love.
Wow.
And then it was like, okay, this doesn't seem that difficult. Those seem like when you don't know how to play them, man, that sounds like that'd be hard to do. Then once you realize how easy it is to do, you're like, man, come on.
My first song was Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. And it is the ultimate rock song in the world.
There you go. I mean, there's so many that are so easy. The bass is a wonderful instrument, man. You don't have to be great to keep the beat.
I'll only say this. I can't say I've played a bass in a long time, but what I love about playing bass is if you think about how many notes are in a chord, you can play any one of them as long as you play it confidently and play it
with power.
You can just do it, and you don't. It's hard to mess up playing a bass. It's difficult to play it wrong. You got like 7 different things that you can hit at any time.
And I'm a power guy. I play with power, so I beat up my basses real bad.
Rush is my favorite band. So Geddy Lee has laid out some of the best bass licks ever.
Oh.
I mean, shit, I wouldn't even try to do.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Do that. That sounds really good. I'm gonna go boom, boom, boom.
Woo! I love it. You guys rock, man.
But I do have one question for both of you, and it's something that I ask everybody before they leave, because I don't ever want somebody to leave and go, man, I didn't get to talk about this, or he never asked me about that. So if there's something you feel like you might not have covered that you want to talk about, that you want to say, this is your moment. Dan, go first.
And again, Pops, you're amazing. Letting me come on the show. God, I don't even have a book out just yet. But guys, please, if you're watching, make sure you go and check out my Facebook, my Instagram. See about updates are coming up. I want to get my crowdfunding out real soon. Again, you're going to have a comic for my top tiers. You're also going to get that novel that goes with it. I'm going to have different levels for some fun stuff, but just keep an eye on it. Again, I think that Starcross Comics, bringing in Ralph, myself, so many of these guys, they have such an incredible vision. I love where it's going. Our characters just fit into this universe. And it's this team that really supports when I'm struggling, like, hey, I've never done this before. What do I do? I've got 5 guys saying, hey, why don't you try this? Let's do this. Why don't we go here? And I'm just like, yes, that's good work. So all Starcross, that we're brothers in this, and I'm just glad we have Ralph here with us.
Well, that's kind of what I love about our network too. It's like if somebody's, they can't be on their show. Like tomorrow, Laurie can't do her show. We got David Howard's going to do her show for her tomorrow. Everybody like looks out for each other. Doc has backed me up a bunch of times. I back him up. It's like life happens. This is not the main part of it. This is the fun part of it, right? But we all have things that happen that interfere with this, and we have to take care of those responsibilities, or we don't get to do this part at all.
You're right.
So, again, you got anything you didn't get to talk about that you want to say? Talk to me.
Same thing. Thank you, Pops. Give me the opportunity. Dan, you're awesome. Starcross is it's awesome. Joe Spicer rocks. Look for me on Facebook at Trading Justice, Raul Mdrigal on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok. I'm gonna shoot this out real quick. For anybody watching that's from the Valley, I'm gonna be at United Collectors Expo here in Ann Arbor, Texas, Saturday, July 27th. And then I'll be at Comic Arts in San Antonio, October 5th for an Independent Creators Expo. That's going to be great, man. That's going to be huge. Go out there, support indie comics, support Starcross Comic, support Pops, Dan. Take care of each other and just rock and roll, guys. Everybody out there.
There you go. There you go. Love to hear it. I want to say thanks to everybody who tuned in tonight. We had over 130 people take a minute to take a look at us on Critical Blast Twitter page. And RJ is nice enough to let us broadcast over there on Twitter, because now you got to have a blue check to broadcast live on Twitter.
Wow.
I'm not paying Elon. Elon's going to have to pay me. I'm sorry.
He's got enough money. You got enough money, man.
You know, but I want to thank RJ for letting us do that, because, man, we just got, you know, even if it was just for a minute, 130-some people tuned in to hear what one of you got or both of you guys had to say. So love you guys watching. Keep watching. We'll keep trying to provide good entertainment. Right?
It's about.
So about 20 minutes, you got, what are those guys called? The Geekmen and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds will be on at 8 o'clock right here on the Madness Comic Network. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out, Rep. Sorry I didn't get you last week. I'm glad we did it again this week, and I'll have you out again, both of you, man. We'll have it out when we got, you know, interior pages to blow up all over the page. You know what I mean? We'll definitely get both of you out again. It was good talking to both of you.
All right.
Again, it's good seeing you again. It's been a long
Good
time.
seeing you again.
Everybody, y'all have a good night. I'm going to play a few more ads from the lovely people who support us and or hang out with us. One of them was in the chat just a minute ago. Kitty from Flip City. Check it out, guys. I'll talk.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Flip City Magazine is just really pulling out all the stops, man. Your guys' production value of this magazine has gone insane. I mean, look at that. I mean, I remember when you guys, it was black and white. Even when it was black and white, I thought your quality was great. But damn, they have just, I mean, they just really stepping it up a notch. Look at this. James Corbett, boys. James Corbett.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
How do you end this thing? How do you put the where's the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz
how to drive.
hands. Jazz hands are great.